Hey, everybody. It's Pat here um, with our Let's Talk Travel for our first evening version of this. And I hope you'll be with me. You'll bear with me because Kevin's usually manning our technology. In Ireland, over there in Dublin, it's about 3 o'clock in the morning. So he's not with us tonight, and I'm flying solo except for my guest. But I'm Pat Hand, owner and founder of Dancing Moon Travel, and we've been around since July 3rd of 2008, just providing great travel experiences for our clients, saving them time, money, mistakes, all kinds of trips planned exactly to their preferences, and also group travel by land and by sea. So basically, for 12 years, we've been at this. We were around far longer than this COVID crisis, for years before that ever came along. We've been here for our clients through the crisis, and we'll still be here long after it's well behind us. But with all that out of the way, I want to welcome you tonight. First of all, thank you for being here with you. We're glad to have you aboard. And I want to welcome a very special guest tonight. This is a man who needs no introduction at all to anyone who is anyone in the cruise industry. Uh, an entrepreneur, travel agent, group cruise specialist, best-selling author, marketer, event planner, international speaker, business coach, and mentor to dozens of travel agents all around the USA. He's a cult hero to us folks, and he's someone who has succeeded against all the odds, uh, and who has one of those amazing rags to riches kind of stories that just grabs your attention and really blesses me. Um, but he's really someone well known in the travel industry, and he's been my friend, my personal mentor for I don't know how many years at this point, and I'm so excited to introduce him to you. Welcome, Captain Lou Edwards. Whoops, Lou, I've just hidden you from everybody. And Lou, I love your hair. Great do there.
Oh my goodness.
You had a little event happen this week, didn't you? You did somebody kind of try to pick you up?
Oh no. Well, first of all, ahoy there, Pat and mateys, everybody on live streaming. Wow, this is pretty cool. Yes, I will tell you that I'm driving with the top down with my wife Phyllis in our Mini Cooper convertible, and a trucker and his friend starts honking and yelling out the window, "Hey ladies, where are you off to? Where are you going?" And I turn around because he can only see my profile, right? And I look like Cousin It since I haven't had a haircut in 3 months. And so you only see this, right? You only see this. And I wasn't wearing the captain's hat. So, I looked like some kind of a cute blonde to him, I guess. And he's trying to he actually was looking past Phyllis at me and trying to pick me up. So I turn around and I go, "Hey, buddy, how's it going?" And he says, "Oh, you're a dude. Sorry about that. I thought you were a couple of ladies." I said, "No." The guy was really embarrassed. But it's been a long time since I've been trying to anyone tried to pick me up. So that was weird. That was weird.
Lou, I was mentioning to our guests how a little bit of your life story. I know that you've had so many stories to tell. And I like for people, if you don't mind, would you mind to share with us a little bit? You didn't really start out life in a situation where people might have just tapped you as the person most likely to succeed in a lineup, right?
No, Pat, I was actually voted least likely to succeed. I was the class clown. I was the one skipping school, going up, running out with my friends. And uh, my story, in a nutshell, is basically I'm an eighth grade dropout that has never seen the inside of a high school. I got kind of orphaned as a teenager when my mom died when I was 15, and then a few years later my dad passed away, and so I kind of went on the road with the pro wrestlers, Vince McMahon's World Wrestling Federation, and people like Andre the Giant and Captain Lou Albano, the original Captain Lou, from back in the late 70s. And I just asked, I didn't want a handout, but I was looking for a hand up. And those people gave it to me and got me started into a world of several very interesting careers, Pat. But none as I was doing a radio show and color commentary and ring announcing when I was 18 years old. But none as exciting, Pat, as the world we are in today. Fast forward 42 years, the world we're in today, and you know what, everyone, when the world starts to unravel, what you got to do is go travel. Am I right?
You are so right. You are absolutely. I like that. When the world, can I steal that? Can I
Yes,
borrow that?
yes, yes.
When the world unravels, you gotta travel.
Got to travel.
I'm gonna steal it, Lou. I'm just won't, consider it stolen. It's just I've stolen a little bit from you around the years, but with your full
Right.
right? Yeah.
Even Pat, even when your world unravels, when our worlds unravel, they say you can't escape your problems if you have problems at home. I disagree. Changes of latitudes, changes of attitudes, you can actually, when they allow us to get on a plane again safely or a cruise ship, just get away from it all. And some people just don't even come back. But yes, the answer, the antidote to all that ails us is travel, world travel. I'm happy to just travel across the street if I can here in the New York City area.
Yeah, and you guys do. I mean, you're going all the time. Back to back all the time. Um, what do you think contributed to your success more than what would you point to? Was it the people that you encountered? Was it your determination? What was it that I know we've got some entrepreneurs that are going to hear this and they may be in need of a little bit of encouragement now. What could they harness that you found helped you up that ladder of success?
I think that my folks that loved me very much while they were alive taught me that as God gave us two ears and one mouth, we should try to listen more than we speak. And along with the listening is to really be interested in acknowledging other people, to recognize and edify everyone you come in contact with. A perfect example, I'm glancing off on the right and I see that I want to say hi to Cheryl and Vanessa and Jeffrey and Kath and Joanne, because I'm not just talking to you, I'm talking to all of them too. So it's just a matter of, I think the pro wrestlers kind of got me to overcome my shyness and just establish relationships with people. Pat, what do I say? What are the best ships? Pat, what are the best ships?
The best ships are the friendships, Lou.
The friendships. So
right.
Along the way, regardless of what I've done, first of all, I've always, you've heard the term fake it until you make it. I don't like.
I know it well.
I don't like that term. I really like to say act as if. So and any of my careers over the last 42 years, I always, I kind of imagined on that. Back then, I didn't know about vision boards. Now everyone has a vision board where you'd like to be 5 years, 10 years from now. But I always thought to myself that I can grow into my capabilities. I can grow into my greatness. So why don't I act as if I'm already there? And I think that I learned my salesmanship from the wrestling guys that are, always huffing and puffing about something.
Oh yeah.
The showmanship, I think, led to salesmanship. And I think I started 3 businesses over the decades with just maybe a few dollars and a dream. and some blood, sweat, and tears and some perseverance. And really, the big answer to your question is a hunger in the belly. If somebody, I grew up dirt poor. We were on welfare and food stamps, and I didn't have like a pair of sneakers till I was 18. I didn't have a second pair of jeans. I don't think I had the first pair of jeans. It was just, we had hand-me-downs, mattress on the floor. Really, my dad was a minimum wage, uneducated minimum wage worker, very loving person. My mom was a stay-at-home mom. It was tough times back in the 60s and 70s, and we didn't have much. I said, I want to make something of my life and be the success of the family. So it's really about the hunger in the belly, Pat, and just going down the path of the straight and narrow and trying to do the right thing. And I think the rest is maybe just a bit of luck, and the man upstairs looking out for me. That's about it.
You know, Lou, I remember vividly when I first encountered you, and really, when I say encounter, that's really what it felt like to me, because it was really kind of one of those life-changing events. I was in Las Vegas at one of those big annual travel conferences. Do you remember when that was?
Yes, it was in May. No, it was in February of 2011 at the
Okay.
Aria Hotel at some kind. I forgot the name of the cruise, some kind of,
or other.
and it was the Aria Hotel is fabulous. It was one of the first few times that I had spoken from the stage, but I don't need a script. I'll talk to 1,000 people as if there's only you in front of me. And so what a fond memory of our first encounter.
You know, I remember that presentation so vividly. I know to this day exactly where I was sitting in that room, and I was riveted. I was hanging on to every word that you said. And I'm going to be honest here, Lou. I'm really thinking to myself, if this is this guy for real, or is he just snake oil salesman? And that's what was in my head. I was like, I don't know. This is so good, but I don't know. And you know, you aren't a big guy. You know, you're always joking about that, but man, you have a huge personality. It just, but I didn't know what to make of everything. I was a relative newcomer in the travel business, beginning to feel my way. I had no clue what I was doing at that point, to be quite honest. And then you rolled out this new training program, and you were, create scarcity. You were limiting it to 20 agents. And I just knew I had to get into that group. I had to be accepted. And long story short, I did make it to New York after borrowing money from my 401k. Jeff Tomas, don't you listen to that borrowing money part from my 401k. I know you will scold me about that one, but anyway, I was there in that cramped New York City conference room, and talk about I mean, that was a case in point for taking it on a cruise ship, because it was crowded, it was hot, it was stuffy, it was boring, all of those things that they say about stuffy, boring conference rooms. It was, except for the presentation. You had us locked in that room for 3 days, and none of us, I mean, we were soaking up everything you had to say. And okay, Jeff, you can listen again, because now that investment so paid off. It was like umpteen times over. You delivered everything that you promised, and umpteen times more. You gave us all you promised, and you keep on doing that.
Pat, that's another secret. Everybody listening, always under promise and over deliver. When I worked as a printer in Manhattan when I was 18 years old, I was the one who came in first, left last, stayed late. The other employees hated me because they thought I was a kiss butt of the boss. But I wanted to make sure all the customers were taken care of. He was taken care of. Everybody was taken care of. And I knew I know rewards would come to me. So always under promise and over deliver. But having said that, I'll tell you a little secret about when you joined me in Vegas and joined my program, and that whole thing about flying to New York, and we only took 20 people. would you believe when I made that presentation in Vegas and that offer, I hadn't yet written the first line of the course.
I can so believe that about you, Lou. I
I
can.
I knew I had things inside of me I'd like to teach and share, but I didn't, you know how people study for years and they've got to get everything perfectly right. Or let's say somebody writes a book and they spend 5 years and there's a ghostwriter and an editor and they rewrite it. I never think about these things. I just say, let's do it. So I never worry about the details. I'm kind of like Forrest Gump running through life, and let's not sweat the small stuff. We'll worry about the details later. And the love is in the details, obviously. But when we met, and I'm in that room full of travel professionals, I had absolutely no idea what my course was going to contain. I didn't write the first word, but I knew that you needed it.
Well, you knew I needed it. I mean, honestly, folks, I sat in that room and I mean, literally, I did not open my mouth hardly at all weekend. I didn't want to display my ignorance. And now there were some pretty experienced people in that room. I could name some names that really, I mean, they've been in travel for a long time and they really knew their stuff. Hi, Jan. I see you just joined us out there. Thank
Hi,
you for
Dan.
coming. But what I respect so much for you, and this is okay now, folks. This is something to take into it. Just as you think about this, you were actually presenting this to what a lot of people would view as your competition, right? You have a room full of travel agents, all of whom are selling travel and trying to do better at selling group travel, and go out and what some people would say would be competing with you. But that
So,
didn't fail.
so here's the thing about it. There's no such thing as competition. I prefer the word co-opetition. Let's cooperate with each other because there's enough abundance in this world. I mean, there are 400,000 travel professionals, 100,000 that specialize in cruises. There is not at the moment because of the coronavirus, but under normal circumstances, which we will get back to, more business than anyone could ever imagine or handle. A friend of mine opened up a pizzeria in Brooklyn, where I'm from, down the block from another pizzeria and across the street from another pizzeria. I said, they already have two pizzerias. What do you need another pizza? People love pizza. And in a densely populated area like Brooklyn, you can carve your niche with the way you make a hero or a calzone or a rice ball. I don't know about pizza, but he said to me, oh, if you do good, people will seek you out and you don't have to worry about competition. So I never looked at training travel agents to compete with me as a problem. And another thing, when you share your gifts in life, you're doing a good thing, number one. Number two, it can be profitable. And number three, you're reteaching and re-inspiring yourself. So just doing a little Facebook streaming live, StreamYard, social media live with you, just it kind of primes the pump. It re-inspires me to do more of what I do. And isn't that true? When you help others, to plan their dream vacation, when you teach and share what you know, you feel better and you go further.
That's all so true. And you know what I really respect about you, Lou, and always have, is you lay it all out there, and you let us learn from all of your successes. And folks, I'm going to tell you, Lou has had some of us agents who have been learning at his feet for all those years, since 2011. For 9 years now, we have been learning from Lou, and you lay it all out there for us when you tell us what all of the good things that happen, but you're not afraid to get out there and let us know when things go wrong. And Lou, sometimes, folks, we're going to share you a secret here, that sometimes things can just go sideways when you get out there and you're on this ship and you've got a big group and all these moving pieces and things. And like with everything else in life, sometimes things don't go quite as expected. and and you have to deal with the unexpected and fix it on the fly and a whole lot of stuff. Uh, a lot of leaders and mentors and teachers and whatever you want to call them, they're happy to share the things that went according to plan, but they don't tell you when things didn't quite go according to plan and how you dealt with that. And Lou, you have been so open and so transparent. I respect that so much because very few people have the kind of confidence that it takes to be that vulnerable.
It took me, thank you, Pat. It took me a long time on the course of my life to.
I see Phyllis back there, by the way. Hey, Phyllis.
Let me hear. Let me.
Hi, Pat.
And audience at home.
Oh, an audience. Hi. Hi, everyone.
So here's what I learned. A lot of experts and gurus, they love to pontificate from the pulpit, and they love to talk at people rather than with people, because they're the grand, high, exalted, mystic ruler. They could do no wrong. They're perfect. Some of our politicians are like that, aren't they?
Oh, yeah.
Right. And it's very rare, especially for man, I think, to say, oh, you know what? I screwed up royally. And so when we do our webinars and I talk about what's happened with my big groups on cruise ships, I always say, I'm going to tell you the good, the bad, and the ugly. What went fabulous from all the great planning we did, and what went wrong and we can learn from, because life gives us these lessons. So why not share those as well? Why not be transparent and vulnerable and say, well, okay, we had this win and this win and this was great, but this I will never do again, right?
That's right.
And people see you as a real person. You know, when you go to deal with a company, you go online, you look for their reviews. They used to call them testimonials. You go to reviews, you go to Yelp, you go to Google, you go to these review sites. And if you see 3.5 stars, 4 stars, 4.5 stars, okay, this must be a good company, product, or service. But what happens when you see only 5-star reviews and there's not one negative comment? It means somehow this has been manipulated, because no one's perfect. People want to see they want to see the real deal. So when I shop online, I'm not looking for 5-star reviews. I want to see the 1 and 2 stars as well, that average out to 4 and 4.5 stars. Why is that important? Because then it's a real person, it's a real service, it's a real product. And you can say, okay, they're pretty much fabulous, but they're not perfect. So I decided I'd rather be pretty much fabulous, but not perfect, and it's okay.
Yeah, it's you try to stand on a pedestal for very long and you're going to get cramps in your feet. It's just not a comfortable place to be. You might as well be real and upfront, I think, as things go. Lou, we're about 25 minutes in here, a little bit less than that, but I want to take off in a little bit of a different direction for a couple of minutes, Lou. You live right across the river from Manhattan there in New Jersey, ground zero for this coronavirus. What's that been like for you as you've been living in there? How are you and Phyllis holding up in your business?
Well, those are two loaded questions. Let me tell you. First of all, it's so strange. You know, we are right here in the belly of the beast, in the epicenter of the corona monster, 18 minutes from Times Square, West New York, New Jersey, overlooking the Manhattan skyline and the Empire State Building, and we've had 12,000 deaths, and New York's had 25, but 26, more. Was it 1/3 of the entire country? I know a lot of people in the rest of the country can't even believe it's this real, but for us, it's very real. It's very scary. So we live in a 3,000 person high-rise complex with 3 towers each that go 50 stories high. My offices are in a mini shopping mall right now where I am, at the base of the buildings. So it's like a cruise ship. We have little shops that are all closed now. Still, we have lots and lots of people. It's very densely populated. And while most people will respectfully socially distance and wear masks and stay 6 feet away, not everyone. Not everybody is conscientious, and not everybody cares. So it's kind of like running a gauntlet personally in just surviving in our condo on the 21st floor. Looking out the window, we don't have a terrace, we don't have a porch, we're in a building. And so that has been a challenge, number one. But it was Phyllis that said early on, we can't lock ourselves into our cage, hunker down in the bunker, and just, you know, and just sit here eating canned tuna and canned soup and never going out. So early on, she said, we need fresh air, exercise, sunshine, vitamin D. So we get in the car, we drive north for about a half hour, 45 minutes, a little bit up into the country, on the Hudson River by the Palisades. And we find a secluded park, a mountain, a field during the week at an off time where there won't be very many people around. And we've done something in the last 10 weeks that I haven't done in the last 10 years because I'm such I'm just always in front of my computer and you get around. So we started exercising and walking and hiking and basically getting out in the fresh air more than we've ever done. And that's a big plus of what's happened to us. The minus, of course, for you, me, and everyone in the travel industry is the travel industry has been decimated. It's been a no-go since the start of the spread. So for people that love travel and people whose entire businesses travel, that's been very rough going. And a lot of people have not, a lot of travel professionals have not survived. Maybe they've thrown in the towel. Not us, not you, and not me. And here's why. 10 weeks ago, maybe 10 and a half weeks ago, Phyllis and I were at a Celine Dion concert at the nearby Prudential Center with 20,000 fans in a suite, in one of those luxury suites that, skybox suite, whatever they call it. Somehow we managed to get these fantastic seats. And we're watching Celine Dion in concert. 4 days later, we're on lockdown. Restaurants are closed and you can't go outside of your house. But think about this. 10 weeks ago, we were with 20,000 screaming fans at a Celine Dion concert. That was just 10 weeks ago, not 10 months ago or 10 years ago. But
well, it seems like it, maybe.
It seems that way. But what happens is we all watch this poisonous, fear-based news media and even social media that scares the Jesus out of you and make you feel like the world will never, there's this new normal. There's this new normal. Well, I want to get back to the old abnormal. So 10 weeks go by, it feels like 10 years. But you know what? This too shall pass.
It will. And people have a hard time, even thinking about it sometimes, but it will. And folks, it will. It came to pass. And we've gotten through all kinds of things in this country. We got through the Great Depression and the Great Recession, and we got through the 1999 when the new millennium was going to. I don't know what it was supposed to do.
Remember that Y2K? The world was going to end on Y2K, right?
We were going to say, and you got, well, you were right there in Manhattan when the World Trade Towers went down. You were right there. And folks, this country gets through things. We will be back to normal. We've just got to keep going for a while. But we're coming up on 30 minutes here, Lou. Here's a picture I thought I'd show. That's got me. You see, Kevin labeled my picture there. That's one of the classes because we try to do this every year, get into there and update our skills and things. Here is one of the photography groups. This guy over here to the left with the bandana and glasses, that's one of our group leaders. So that's, and here's another one of the groups that, a couple of the groups that we've done, small groups. But Lou, here's a picture that I scarfed of one of your groups, and this isn't even close to being your biggest group. You can't see that because I've got this thing that I can't.
You can remove Jan's thing. There's a little button you hit to remove.
I know there's supposed to be a button, but I can't seem to find the right button. I just, what can I say? I'm just, I said you're just going to have to bear with me here, but, uh, I, I think I've got another one of yours here. Yeah, there's another one of your groups there, and if I didn't have this banner that I can't get rid of, you'd see Lou there in the front of that too, and I believe a tie-dyed shirt where he likes to be. But Lou, those are the kind of groups that you do. You do huge groups with 400 plus people. Do about 12 of them a year, I think, sometimes, and then a few smaller ones sprinkled in. Lou, people might just want to get hold of you.
Wait.
Sure of
Oh,
you.
wow. Wow. Look at this. Look at this. Wow.
There's a little bit about you. So if somebody here wants to get a hold of you, they've got a huge group and they'd like to talk about how to get them on board a cruise ship, and they really like what they've heard from you today. How do they get you?
Well, I would absolutely, first of all, I want to talk about you for a second. You are one of my star students and proteges. You have done these wonderful groups and you do it wonderfully. And if anyone has, and since this is your show tonight on the streaming, if anybody is even thinking about putting together a group cruise or even land trip together, the first person I want them to contact is the first person I would always recommend if I wasn't available. And that is you. You.
Thank you so much.
You no, seriously.
See why I love this guy.
Listen, I've been very, very blessed in my life to up until March 12th have more business than I can handle. Okay. And it's been an absolute blessing. But there's another blessing that happened, and that was in May or February, whenever it was in 2011. And Pat, you had just entered the industry, and you're sitting in the first or second row like a deer in the headlights, thinking,
Cool.
I've got a lot to learn here. Can I actually be successful, even a fraction of Captain Lou? Can I get this whole thing together here? And it's not easy being a travel agent, a group event planner, and also an internet marketer that you need to be as well to reach out beyond the community and to the entire country, sometimes the world. So there's a lot of skills that Pat has learned. Technology is not her strong suit, but she's learned a lot of skills in the past 8 or 9 years. And I'm so proud of you, Pat. And so anyone that you brought in tonight, and everyone that I see here in the chat room and others that will be watching this on replay, people can certainly contact me to say hi, but I would really prefer and be honored if they would trust their travel and group planning with my number one student out of 154. We've had 154 people go through the program, but you took it and ran with it. And I would trust you with anyone that I do business with. And I would highly recommend that people consider bringing their groups to you, Pat, to you.
Thank you so much, Lou. I am so honored, and I so appreciate that. We had not worked that out. That was not part of my plan here. But people can get you how? I want people to know if they want to call you. How do they get you?
Well, first of all, there's let me see. My book, justaddfriendsbook.com. You can check out my website, special events at sea.com. What else? I've got a million different websites, and you can see some of the groups that we do at specialeventsatsea.com. But if you do contact me personally, I'm Captain Lou Edwards on Facebook and YouTube and Google. You could Google me and a million things will come up. But I will send you right back to Pat, because I want, when I say I want to give you the business, that's not in a bad way, Pat. Pat has been a blessing in my life, so I'd like to be a blessing in hers. And I would like for you to entrust all of your travel needs, and especially group event planning, to my number one student and protege. Now, we'll have this on tape so you can take it to the bank. And that is the wonderful Pat Hand from Dancing Moon Travel.
Well, Lou, you're so kind. I love you, and Phyllis, and you guys have been such a blessing. And folks, I'm glad that you joined us tonight and got acquainted a little bit with one of my favorite people on the planet, Captain Lou, and his wife is Phyllis is such a dear, lovely, lovely gal. They are just I just love them and everybody loves them. But
We love you too.
thank you, Phyllis.
What, Phyllis? What did you say, Phyllis?
I said we love you too.
Hey, Phyllis.
Love you.
So everybody, I think that's it for us tonight.
By
Thank
the
you. I'll tell Marvin hi too. So
Yes,
thank you.
absolutely. We love Marvin.
Yeah, me too.
And I just do I have time to just say one more thing in closing to everybody?
Absolutely.
I don't want to take for granted the long road I've traveled, and I remember where I came from. And to those that might be watching this either live or on replay, that might be a little frightened about their budgets. Maybe they've been furloughed temporarily or permanently. Maybe their hours have been reduced. Maybe their business, if anyone has a small business, has been stopped and it's hard to pay the rent. I don't know the situation of each and every person, but when it's happening, that moment can feel like forever. And I'm here to tell you, this is not just cliche lines. When God closes one door, another door opens. And so this too shall pass. The best is yet to come. I truly believe this in my heart. Every time I don't believe it, I have a talk with a man upstairs who sets me straight. And this has been a brief moment. It's certainly a big moment, but we will be back not to the new normal, but to a better times sooner than you know it, and be traveling in good health, in safety, and in good cheer with those that we love and the strangers that will become our friends in the next chapter of all of our lives. So,
What's that toast, Lou? What's that toast that you give?
so I'll end with a toast, but I need a glass. Does somebody have a glass?
I'm soda.
Wait a minute. This is just a Seagram's Diet Ginger Ale. But I'll leave you with my toast.
Zero here.
I'll leave you with my toast, everyone. Folks, there are good ships and there are wood ships. There are tall ships and there are small ships. But the best ships are the friendships, like the ones made with you and everyone else here tonight.
Here, here.
You're here.
Well, thank you, Lou, and thank you everybody for joining us. And I'm so proud to introduce my friend Lou Edwards. He is the real deal. Thanks again, Lou, for joining us. And see you again next week. Oh, next week you want to tune in. I have got a good friend coming in, my friend Robin Mountain from Nataba Tours. We're going to talk Africa. So join us next week. And thanks everybody for listening in.
Bye, everyone.